Welcome back to Elevation Perspective. My name is Mark, joined today with Frank Tropiano. Frank, today we are talking about Backlash, a quick, small five-match card. Right now, how are you feeling about your excitement levels for Backlash?
I mean, I like everything that's on it pretty much, but I thought there would be more.
I guess they could still announce a match or two on SmackDown. We can maybe get like a Tiffany Stratton match, maybe the tag team titles can be on the line, but it feels a little odd that it feels really fast after WrestleMania and right before Money in the Bank. These all feel kind of like pressed together, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I don't know if it's necessarily that I thought that everybody was going to have a match, but it just feels like neither women's championship is being defended. Lyra's defending her championship, which we'll get to. Neither of the tag team championships are being defended. All three of the tag team championships are not being defended. It's just it feels like there's just like a match or two missing that I would expect to be on it. I don't know.
And like I said, that still could be added on SmackDown. For right now, what we can do is go over the five matches that have been announced. First off, here, the Intercontinental Championship, held right now by the champion Dominic Mysterio. He is going to face Penta. I'll let you go first here, Frank. Who do you have winning this match?
Yeah, this one's actually kind of tough, if you ask
It kind
me.
of is, yeah.
Um, so I think there's two schools of thought here. Number one, Penta is like made for the Intercontinental U.S. Championship in my book. Like he is the perfect upper mid card guy. Every once in a while, give him a world title shot. Maybe win one day. But this is like a perfect opportunity to crown him, right? But then Dom got that pop. Why would we do it? Why would we take the belt off of Dom? So I'm gonna stick with that school of thought, and I'm gonna say Dom probably wins this match.
I have Dom retaining as well. There were some reports that in the near future, we're going to put Ray Phoenix and Penta back together and reunite the Lucha Bros, which makes sense. It concerns me because I feel like both guys are off to solid single starts. And once you become that tag team, we've seen what WWE does to most tag teams. So a little concerning there, but like you said, Dom just won the belt. He got a great reaction. Doesn't really seem at the time to take it off him just yet. Maybe that's the path there where it's Judgment Day versus the Lucha Bros, and we continue that going for a while. I can see that happening. I guess kind of the next pivot to this question, if we both have Dom retaining, how do you see Finn Balor slash the Judgment Day playing into this match?
So I think Finn can get knocked out by Dom, like trying to distract Penta, and then he knocks out Finn. But then JD's there for a different distraction, and Carlito's there for a different distraction. Ultimately, it's just too much for Penta to overcome. But it's going to be Dom hitting Finn accidentally, just fueling that fire a little bit more.
Okay, that's believable to me. Our next match here, this will probably be the match of the night, I think. The United States Championship Fatal 4-Way between Jacob Fatu, the champion, versus Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, and Damian Priest. A lot going on here. I kind of feel like we're going to get a title change here. I don't know if that's crazy, but it's immediately a multi-man match, so Jacob's super protected here, does not have to take the pin. I feel like someone else is walking out champion. How do you feel right now?
Okay, I can get behind that. My pushback is I think a lot of people would look at this match and say, okay, well, if you're not going to have Jacob Fatu win, you're going to have Drew McIntyre win. But I disagree with that completely. I don't think Drew McIntyre needs the United States Championship.
No, that does make sense. But I mean, any of these guys are fine though. You can give it to LA
Yeah,
Knight, give it to Damian Priest.
absolutely. Priest or Knight could absolutely be United States champion. It's interesting. It's like weird because is this how the Priest McIntyre feud ends in this? Like, it's okay if this is how LA Knight and Jacob end because it was over the title. You know what I mean? So if one of them takes the title, like that's okay. Like that can end. But the other match where it just feels like they just get involved with everything. And look, ultimately, if they're gonna keep the shtick going, then Damian Priest needs to be the reason Drew McIntyre doesn't win this match. So for that reason, I'm going to take Jacob to retain. But if, like what you said, you think there's going to be a title change, if I had to pick someone, I'd pick LA Knight.
Okay, so you're gonna take Jacob though.
But I am taking Jacob. Yeah.
I'm gonna take LA Knight. I kind of did that whole thing in my head as you said it. My biggest thing here is I know it's backlash. It's not a big pay-per-view, but we can't have everybody retain. And we both think Dom's going to retain. I'm pretty sure we both think Cena's going to retain later on. So we need some kind of surprise, some kind of title change here. I think this is the most natural fatal four-way. Obviously, Jacob's a monster, but we can do a screwy finish. If they want to play the solo card, they can. If they want to have Drew and Jacob just take each other out, they can do that too. So I will take LA Knight, knowing Jacob will probably retain, but for the shock factor, I'll take LA Knight to be the new champion.
Okay, I don't hate the pick at all.
This next one here, Gunther versus Pat McAfee. I struggle with this match immensely, as we've talked about. I feel like this is just a lose-lose for all parties involved. I can't come up with a scenario where I'm like, okay, that will be good for Gunther, or okay, that'll be good for Pat, because what's the point of all this?
So I'm on record of saying I didn't want to see this match. When we did our post WrestleMania review, we waited till Raw, so we reviewed the entire weekend, right? And when we did that, I was on record of saying I didn't want to see this match. I have slightly changed my tune, and that is because Pat McAfee cuts a top three promo in the company right now, and I'm not going to apologize for saying that. You know what I mean? Like if when they do the LFG, the Legends and Future Great show, right? They should be showing them Pat McAfee's promos because that's how you get over. He got crowd reactions. Like the crowd is going to be into this match, and that's part of the show for me at least. Like I love when the crowd is into the match, and they're going to be into this match. They're going to be behind Pat. Gunther's the super heel that he is, and he's playing that role great. Now, the outcome, right? That's what you're asking about, right? How does this outcome benefit anyone? And the answer is as long as Gunther wins and they put on an entertaining match, I don't think it really matters that much. Something's got to happen at the end, right, to make this mean something. Or Pat just went to management and was like, "Hey, I want to go back in the ring," and they were like, "You know what? That'll probably draw some eyes on the product, and let's see how we can get you in there." And this is what they decided.
So we're under the assumption that Pat will put up a fight here based on the build, based on the promos he's cutting. And that doesn't, and I know we're kind of also alluding to we probably think Pat's going away for a little bit after this. We're pretty confident here. I'm almost 100% sure Gunther's going to win the match, but I just don't see how Pat McAfee, the commentator, the football kicker, the radio podcast guy, putting up a fight against our ring general Gunther helps anyone.
You know, it's true because when it was Adam Cole in NXT, nothing against Adam Cole, but like Adam Cole was a normal sized dude. Like Pat McAfee's a normal sized dude. Although Pat McAfee is pretty tall, like he is pretty built. Like Adam Cole was pretty built. You know what I mean? Like he Adam Cole looked like a wrestler. Pat McAfee looked like he could stand next to that wrestler. Gunther's a whole different animal here, and that look definitely has something to do with what you're saying. But I don't know. Pat's an athlete. He's always wearing those cutoff shirts. He's pretty built. Sure, I believe it. Why not?
All right, we both have Gunther then.
Yeah, I'll take Gunther. The only way I could see Gunther losing is if he gets himself disqualified by, and then further putting Pat out. I do think that the theory that Goldberg could get involved here is very real. If that's his last opponent, and that Gunther's a perfect last opponent for Goldberg, that could be really cool.
All right, I don't know if cool would be my word for it, but I see where you're going there. Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria is the champion, taking on Becky Lynch. Now that I look at this, this could easily be our title change of the night. It does not have to be Jacob Fatu's title. I'm gonna take Becky here. I know maybe they want to keep this thing going and they'll have Lyra retain here. That's definitely a possibility too, but Becky came back, she turned heel, she has momentum. I don't think keeping on Lyra does anything for anyone, so I'll take Becky Lynch to be our new champion.
I'm gonna take Lyra because Becky's facing the Becky Hogan allegations right now, and I think they're gonna want to quiet that. They don't want everyone turning against Becky in that way. Like they want her to get booed as a heel. They don't want to get her. They don't want her to get booed as a heel in that way.
It's
And I
the
think
Intercontinental Championship. It's not the
it's
women's title. It's
and that's a further reason to not put it on Becky Lynch. You know what I mean? Like I guess like if they wanted to legitimize it, but I think a win over Becky Lynch does that too. I think Bayley gets involved here, helps out Lyra and gets revenge because Becky
okay.
straight up came out on Raw a few weeks ago and was like, "Hey, I did it. I hurt you, Bayley." So I think naturally, that's got to lead to Bayley can't just come back and not address that. You know what I mean? So I think this could be a good spot for Bayley. It'll protect Becky in the loss, and they keep the title on Lyra.
Yeah, I'm not going to flip flop now, but that's almost certainly how this is going to play out. Now that you mapped it out like that, she said to Becky, she also did a few different interview spots on the Raw Talk and different things calling out calling out Bayley. So that's probably the path. Just what I was saying previously with the Becky Hogan allegations, winning a mid card title that barely means anything at this point. That's not the correlation to the Hulk Hogan stuff, in my opinion.
Listen, it's the hot story right now, you know what I mean? Or it's the hot narrative right now, I should say. And so let's not run with it.
Main event here, the undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena taking on Randy Orton. So, spoiler alert, I'm pretty confident we both have John retaining. I'll just hand it over to you first, Frank. How do you see the finish here? Do you see something crazy? Do we get The Rock? Do we get something nuts? Do you see John Cena low blowing the referee and slapping him in the face? And he like, how do you see this match finishing?
So I like the idea of the callback, but I think John needs to win. I think John needs to win in the dirtiest fashion possible. So I am going to take John Cena to win the match. Okay. Not Randy by DQ. You're going to come through the screen and smack me when I say what I'm about to say.
The Travis Scott.
I kind of want to see Travis Scott again. Like, and the reason, hear me out, right? The reason I want to see Travis Scott again is because this is pissing people off. This is getting that heel heat on John Cena. And at this point, it already happened at the WrestleMania main event. So it can happen at the Backlash main event again. And people will be like, oh my God, I can't believe again with this guy. It's going to add to when Cena loses the title. It's going to add to, oh my God, we don't have to see Travis Scott in main events anymore. Like things like that are good for him at this point as a heel. Like they already did it. So just do it again because it clearly pissed people off. And like you can't piss people off to the point where they're going to stop watching. You know what I mean? Like no one's going to stop watching because this is the second time Travis Scott showed up.
It's not good heat though. And like I know there's like a difference. The problem that I have with Travis Scott, I think most people have with Travis Scott, is it makes no sense. He is yet to get on a microphone, explain his motivations, explain what he is doing out there. We just hear fiend, 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 and John Cena has this like maniacal, evil smile, like, here comes my 100-pound friend that's going to help me win this. It just doesn't make any sense. And until he gets on the microphone, explains himself, until The Rock comes in here and says, Travis Scott is my underling, he's been helping me this whole time, there has to be some kind of direction and explanation to what has been going on.
That's fair. I think we have to get it. But also, if that happened, just say that were to happen Monday on Raw. You know what I mean? It wouldn't make it. It wouldn't make WrestleMania make less sense if he came out in Backlash before he then gave that promo. Like we're already not getting that promo for at least for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying like if The Rock shows up at Backlash, I think people are going to be more pissed than anything. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't come to WrestleMania, but you could show up to Backlash in St. Louis, Missouri, and that's no dig on St. Louis, Missouri. It's more about Backlash than it is about St. Louis, Missouri.
My other thing here is I feel like this is a one and done with John and Randy. I don't feel like we know John's going to retain here, but I don't see it like going past that. So do they write Randy off then? Because Randy's going to get screwed out of this win, and in character, he would want to come back after John. So maybe that's why I lean maybe. I think something crazy happens here. I don't know if it's Seth and Braun just like kill Randy and help John retain, which is kind of another theory that we've kind of all been thinking maybe there's some kind of connection here between Paul Heyman and The Rock and John, and maybe it all lines up together. And of course, Seth and Braun aren't on this card. I think initially we thought there'd be some kind of big tag team with Punk and Roman, but that of course didn't happen either. So I feel like there has to be a crazy finish here where Randy gets written off TV.
So I was thinking about this, about Seth and Braun. Like, how can we get them involved, right? And would it make sense? Like, they have to now be on John Cena's team, and to me, that feels a little far fetched. But could we tell the story that Seth can't have Randy winning that belt because of I don't know what he could cite, right? But
Yeah.
so that's why they got involved, not because they're teaming up with John Cena, you know. But I mean, also that stable would be really cool. Like I'm not saying it wouldn't, but I just don't know if that's where they want to go because in Seth's promo he talked the next night on Raw when he was with Heyman, he talked about John Cena. You know what I mean? He mentioned Cena, and it didn't sound kind. It wasn't like he was just saying like we run the show now. You know what I mean? It's not John Cena, it's not Jey Uso. So to me, that's how I'm trying to like link that. But you're right, because Randy needs to either be A, written off, or B, whoever interferes in this match needs to then start a program with Randy.
And I know something that the theorists keep going back to on the internet community is Seth technically helped John win the chamber match. He was really trying to just screw over Punk, but it's not the most far-fetched if you want to kind of squint, turn your head a little sideways to see that being a union, but there are some obstacles and hurdles to leap over for sure. I think we get The Rock. I don't, like you said, it wouldn't be great based on he couldn't show up for Backlash, for WrestleMania. I think they saw all of the backlash, no pun intended, they got from The Rock not showing up for Mania. They kind of have to pull some audibles here and get this thing back on track. I'll say we see The Rock. I say they take out Randy Orton.
So this is the one thing I'm gonna say in terms of like storytelling past this point, right? I have been very vocal about it on this channel as we've been discussing wrestling that CM Punk and John Cena need to go one on one at Money in the Bank, right? Because that's where they had their great blowover match. And Punk came out and cut that promo after Elimination Chamber and said, I am coming after you two bald headed weirdos or whatever he said. I forget what the word he used exactly, right? So, but Punk is also tied up with Heyman and Punk and Braun right now, right? So could I, in my head, get to the point where Seth screws over Randy and then we have a 3-on-3 at Money in the Bank? Yes. Could I also get it in my head where Seth screws over Randy? They don't really acknowledge Cena in all of it. They try and pin it on a reason for Randy. And then Seth screws over Punk at Money in the Bank in the solo match. And then we start seeing this faction really form. They let it marinate because Triple H does like to let things sit, but we also don't have a lot of time to let things sit. It's already May. We are already in the fifth month of 12 months of this John Cena run. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It's pretty sad when you put it like that. But no,
Yeah,
that's the scenario. What do we have? 25 more dates? What does the countdown say?
I think it was at 26 after SmackDown, but he'll be on tomorrow night. So I think after Backlash, we'll have 24. And if he shows up Monday on Raw, that'll be 23 left after that. So
He's really
um,
shooting his load.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, it should be a good card. It should be a pretty good show based nice and quick. Like I said, they'll probably have one more match on SmackDown, make it 6 matches, but it looks fine.
I also want to say that there's a good chance that nothing happens. The referee just gets knocked down. I mean, Cena's going to win dirty. He has to like cement this heel thing, right? But there's a good chance the referee gets like knocked down and then Cena grabs the belt and hits Randy with the title again and wins the same way he beat Cody. Not so much with Randy, like him pleading for Randy not to hit him because Randy's not holding back. He will hit him with that title, or that's not Randy Orton in the ring. So it'll just be like ref distracted, Orton down, boom, title 1, 2, 3. I could also definitely easily see that. As much as we like to like try and tell the stories, you know.
Yeah, but based on what we both said earlier, like Randy would just go on Raw or SmackDown and try to kill
Right.
John. It's like it has to be some kind of disconnect where Randy's no longer involved.
Right. We don't have time for Randy Cena 2 in this run. As great as that would be, we could watch Randy Cena for a year. I mean, I know we could. Some people might disagree with that, but we just don't have that time, right?
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yep. Anything else for us here today, Frank?
No, I mean, I think it'll be a good show. I don't have a problem with the 5 matches. I just feel like more talent should have been on. Like we're not getting Jey Uso, we're not getting Seth Rollins, um, we're not getting either of the women's champions right now. It just feels off. I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited.
We'll come back. We'll review on Sunday or Monday. Hopefully, we're reviewing a crazy show where we see Goldberg and The Rock and Stone Cold and Taker. Let's go crazy with it. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.